Welcome back to another episode of Elevators. I'm Crystal Vega.
And I'm Amanda Booz. Welcome back, guys. I
Amanda
sound
Booz
crazy.
/ Pop Smoke, y'all. So forgive Amanda. I'm obviously going to be doing a lot of the
Yo.
talking on today's episode because my girl left her voice in last week or something. Like, she literally sounds insane. But welcome back.
Yes.
We're so excited for you guys to be joining us for another episode. We have so much catching up to do. Amanda, y'all, has been outside, obviously, so she's gonna have to walk us through like what happened with her voice. There's a lot going on down here in Miami.
It's too much going on, and I apologize in advance if I sound like a grown man this morning. Remember last week when I was telling you guys Little Miss not drinking, like I was giving y'all, I'm not drinking anymore. Yeah, I don't know what y'all did a number on me this week because I don't know what got into me, but I kept it cute during the middle of the week and even the beginning of the week. And for some odd reason this year, Miami Swim Week and ABFF, which is the American Black Film Festival, for those who don't know, all decided to happen in the same exact week in Miami. Miami is already overwhelming as it is when events happen, like a F1 or Art Basel or like anything. Memorial Weekend, which was literally last weekend. I think it's also summer break. Like, it's just so much happening where everybody's outside at one time. So obviously this past weekend, so many events happened. I had friends in town. Me and Crystal went to a couple events together. Like, so your girl was outside. But last night in particular was the ABFF like closeout all white party, and I don't know why people feel the need to still smoke indoors because that secondhand smoke is real. Like, I don't know, girl. People find a way because I promise y'all, I didn't smoke no hookah, but people were smoking in my vicinity, and I'm like, what happened? You would have thought I smoked a whole pack of cigarettes. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I sound crazy. So I apologize in advance if you guys are listening. Thank you for tuning in. But yes, I'm sounding like, like a grown man today.
Yeah,
That's
girl.
it. It's crazy.
It's
It's
okay. They know
crazy.
what you sound like when you don't sound like a man. So all
I like
good.
the bass, honestly. I think I like it a little bit. I like
Not
it
too
a
much.
little bit.
Not too much. I just need you to sound a little more normal.
My goodness. Let's talk about Swim Week though. So we went to the Brown Sugar Babe event, which was fire. It was nice. We had a good time. We were actually hopping around. We went to Netflix. What else did we do? We did a bunch of different things that night. I feel like we moved everywhere.
We did. So for those of you who don't know, Miami Swim Week is like New York Fashion Week, where a bunch of brands come down here and activate. One thing that I absolutely love about living in Miami is the fact that it is really a destination like tempo location. So like we don't always have something going on like New York City where there's like always something happening every day of the week. However, when things do happen, it's like a thing. Like the brands are here, like people are flying out for it, like Art Basel and all these and F1 and Swim Week and all these different sort of tempo activities every couple of weeks, and people are flying in for it. And I love that. Like, I love the fact that people are coming to Miami to enjoy themselves. But also I love when like everybody leaves. And then it's like quiet and back to normal, and we can recoup and get back into the flow of things because it do be a lot sometimes.
It does. It definitely does. And I literally was saying that to myself. I'm like, I cannot wait till everybody goes home. Respectfully, love when people come to visit. But this week, I am like back on my doing everything I need to be doing, working, gym, no events. I'm wearing flats. My feet were like hurting all weekend from just being in heels. I'm like, look, let's get back to regularly scheduled programming. Love the
No, for
events, but I
real.
love when it's over. So yeah.
And there's also been so much happening socially. Like, I feel like these days we have been featuring our unfiltered segment where we like talk about things that are happening on social media and like in the world much more, and like giving our POVs on it. And yeah, I think the last couple of weeks we have been doing that very consistently because there's always something going on. Like, this week, there's a whole ordeal about makeup and trademarking and IPing and all the things. And quite frankly, I don't really understand what's going on. So, Amanda, please walk us through what is happening on the internet right now.
So honestly, there's just a lot of discourse happening on social media. If you guys have not seen it already or are familiar, basically Patrick Ta is being called out, y'all. Patrick Ta is being called out because he trademarked basically like a blush duo set that was originally wasn't even actually really originally created by Painted by Esther, but Painted by Esther went trending and viral for it because she is Alondria's makeup artist and she would do all of these beautiful, like bright, bold blushes on Alondria. And so she became really popular for that style of makeup. And it's so funny because I was looking back at like social clips. Patrick Ta literally got on the internet and was like that he was doing the same thing on his clients and was saying that he got the idea from Painted by Esther's. So he really gave her the credit when he was doing that, originally when he got hip to the trend, but now he's claiming like it's something new that he's developed and it's something that he's been doing for years. And it's like, yo, when did we miss the plot on not really giving originators or the people who really came up with ideas in general, not even as it relates to makeup? When did we miss the plot on giving people their credit? Like,
Yeah.
why do we feel like as a community, because guess what? Nothing has been like not created like at all. Like I feel like everything under the sun has been created and has been redone in history multiple
Mhm.
times, right? But I think it's okay to say that it wasn't your idea. Maybe you perfected it or maybe you came up with your own version of it, but people are calling him out on the internet because you may or may not agree with it, but he trademarked it now. So he went even a step further to say, this is actually my idea. When people are calling him out and saying, Patrick, this isn't your idea. And she even said it's not even her idea. So I think this is a great learning curve because it can teach us a lot about business. I feel like a lot of creatives and, people who are on the internet do things online. And sometimes if we have a really good idea and your idea is something that has never been thought of or that is so unique, I think it's so important to go the extra mile and trademark or go the extra mile and do your due diligence to have those things done because so many businesses have like fallen to the wayside by the people who created it first, by
Yeah.
people who just take the step further and get it trademarked.
Wait, I have a question. So what is he trademarking? Is he trademarking the IP of it? Or is he trademarking like a product that can be used to do that style?
So he's trademarking her signature blush technique. And he has
You could
blush
do that?
palettes, girl.
That's so interesting because in fashion, you can't that's very interesting to me that you could do that in makeup because in fashion, I don't think that you can trademark or like IP your designs, and that's why like the fast fashion brands can create dupes because legally there's no real protection for the high-end designers that are coming up with these pieces that these fast fashion brands are duping.
So
So it's
I
very
think he's
interesting to
also,
me that
yes. So
that's because it's almost like I just don't get it. Like, how would you trademark something like that? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, stop people from doing that? Like, I just don't understand what's the point of trademarking something like that.
yeah,
I
so
don't
I
know.
think
I
he's
don't know.
trademarking transitional blush. I think that's what they're also like calling it. Because it's been popular. Like I think you guys have seen it everywhere on the internet if you haven't already. Like it's really that bold blush, but it's like the technique of how you do it. So he's saying that that's like his idea now.
That's
Girl, it's
very
messy.
unfortunate. I think, you know what? This is a great opportunity to talk about not letting people take credit for your stuff in the corporate world and as a freelancer. Like,
Mm,
just how you said, it's so important to protect your work. Protect your work, protect your IP. This has even happened to Uggs, the famous Uggs that we all absolutely love. So
hmm
those were originated in Australia. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when Uggs first came out, it was like Ugg Australia or like since
mm.
1989 or something like that. That's what they used to be called. And then there was like a US company. I don't know if they like merged or whatever it was. Long story short, now that brand and like that sort of that design and the originators of Uggs, what we know as Uggs here in the States, they had like a fallout or like a clashing with Uggs in the States versus Uggs, the originator in Australia. So now the originator in Australia can only sell their product, which they originated in the States, under like since 1980 something. Like they can't sell the product under the name Uggs, which we know.
Really?
Yes. So now the
Wow.
Ugg company that we know, right?
hmm
After they had the fallout with the originator of Uggs. I know this sounds so confusing, but
Wow.
basically the originators worked, I guess, with an American company and they fell out. And because the American company owns the name Uggs here in the States, the originators who started the brand and who created the footwear now can only sell under a different name here in the States. But it's like once as a consumer, you know Uggs to be Uggs, you're not gonna go to the originator to the since 18 blah blah blah, you know?
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
very unfortunate. And I say all that to say, if it happens to the bigger brands like that, what makes us think that it can't happen to us?
And you know what's crazy? It happens to people all the time. And it reminds me that influence is not the same as ownership. And I think people have to understand that. So, like, think about it. We talk about music all the time. Drake's album came out. A girl who was on TikTok created a video. And I think for the first time, as we all were taking on the music, she heard her voice from a TikTok video she shot. You know what I mean? And I think it's like there's something so, I think, special about people who go the extra mile to actually own the rights or own their thing before it pops off. Like, there's a difference between creating and being creative and ownership. Like,
Mhm.
it's that one specific like business piece that I feel like a lot of us sometimes miss. We're so ready to get the idea out and so quick to like show it to the world versus like, let me go on the internet, let me get the LLC, let me go on LegalZoom, let me make sure I could trademark it. Cause you trademark stuff, Crystal, like you could talk to that. Like what, like explain the process for people who don't know and like what they should do and how long that takes to actually like trademark things.
First of all, it takes forever. And I will also say this is such a layered conversation because trademarking, even if you don't trademark stuff, you still have a leg to stand on if you started a brand a long time ago and you have proof of using said logo or idea.
Uh-huh.
Like you can still end up in a legal battle, but when you're trademarking things, you're kind of like making it harder for somebody to even take it that far with you. So I have trademarked things in the past. I did it personally myself the first time without ChatGPT. Okay. So I just want to say that because it took a long time. And sometimes I think, like, oh my God, how did people do these things in the past without the assistance of AI?
Girl.
But it is possible. However, it
Yes.
was very tedious. Now I'm sure the process is much easier because you could put into chat and chat could like help you figure it out. So use your resources. You don't necessarily have to hire a lawyer to trademark something or to trademark your IP, but it is a very like tedious task. So you want to make sure you know exactly what you're doing because the smallest feature can make the biggest difference. This is not legal advice, obviously, by the way, but
Mm.
basically, in the past, I have trademarked stuff by myself, and then we had updated our business logo. So I had that done professionally the second time because there was a brand and company who was functioning under a very similar name and was also functioning in a very similar realm, which
Hmm.
was extremely close to home. We didn't send a cease and desist. And I mean,
Like they were throwing events and doing like all of that as well?
yes, literally. So basically, what happened, I believe I was like trademarking regardless. I was already in the trademarking process the first time. And then something had came to our attention that was like, hey, there's this brand. They function in the same one of the same states as you, and they sound very similar. They're doing very similar things. And I was like, oh, like we gotta send a cease and desist because this is crazy.
Mhm.
But as time went by, and this is in all industries, a lot of people don't stick to what they were doing. Like, and
This is
that's the
true. They
hardest
see it
part. It's
hot
not
for a second. They see it
yeah,
hot
it's
for a
like
second.
it's not hard to start an idea. When you're like on a rush, like you're driven, you're on a high, like you're motivated, you're inspired, but you're not disciplined. So after a while, it's like that kind of like fizzled out and we didn't have to like take any legal steps in the past. However, if we did need to take a step now, we are officially trademarked and it goes as far back as when we started the company in like 2017. So like
Mhm.
we have been doing this for a long time. So anyways, I say all that to say,
Right, run the date back because, like,
yeah,
come on, y'all.
right.
Knocking on 10 years, that's crazy.
I know that's so crazy. Baby, we getting old.
You got a 10-year-old baby, basically.
Yeah, we do. And I think actually now that you say that, we're gonna have to do something big to celebrate 10 years.
Yes,
That's
you should definitely do that.
crazy.
Y'all have to. Y'all
Yeah,
have to. But
you're
I think
right.
that's crazy because it's like, when did inspiration become exploitation? You know what I mean? Like, why is it that people can't just say, hey, we would love to do something like this in our city because we don't have it? And I think sometimes that's what it becomes. It's like people see something and they want to execute it. But I say all the time, you can give somebody the ingredients, you can give them the spices, you can get them down to writing out the recipe. No one is going to be able to do something the way you do it because and y'all know I'm spiritual. I feel like God literally places certain things on certain people because he knows this is like what I want you to do. You know what I mean? And it's not
Mhm,
to say that other people can't do something, but it's like there's often like, you know what I'm saying? Often imitated, never duplicated. We've heard the term before. You know what I mean? Like
mhm,
there's no one that does something better than you. And I think that that's always the test of time. So I feel like if you're watching or listening and there's an idea you want to start, but like you're getting discouraged because someone else is like doing it, one, of course, do your research, but also like if this is something you're really supposed to do or it's like within you, you'll know. You know what I mean? And you also know when you're just putting on because you see that it's hot for a second and then it's like, well, I just want to jump on the bandwagon. Like it
yeah,
really has to be something you're really truly passionate about. You can't just want to do something because you see other people doing it and you feel like it's a profitable thing to do. Like I think once you take money out of it and it's really something that you really are passionate about, like no one's gonna be able to copy you because it's like you are the original blueprint. And that's
mhm.
really all it is.
And if you are the type of person that, like, you do things for money, that's okay. You are a business person. Buy a boring business. Buy multiple boring businesses. Like, if your passion is just making money and it's not, like, tied to, like, creating art or doing something creative or doing or, like, social give back, whatever it is, that is okay, but being able to identify that and lean into it is the most important thing because that's where you're going to really see yourself flourish and see yourself become more successful and meeting and exceeding your dreams and your goals. It's not, to Amanda's point, jumping on the bandwagon because this is hot right now and you got to create it from scratch. And that's another thing too. It's like there's so many different layers. I have like my brain's everywhere, but like I just think there's just so much power in collaboration. Like if you're
Mhm.
seeing this thing that's happening, you don't have to create it from scratch by yourself. You can just join whomever is building said thing because 9 times out of 10 they're probably trying to grow and trying to put other people in
Right.
leadership positions, and that's me giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? But
Yep.
like you don't always have to do your own thing that's very similar. But a lot of times when people are creating these different business ideas and it's really in vain, it's really in self-service, it's really
Mm.
to be in the spotlight or to be the founder or the owner of this, like, you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, it's not
Yeah,
really because they're passionate about said thing. They're more passionate about attention than anything. I mean, I think it's very important to be very real with yourself about that, like what it is that you're trying to do, because you'll end up wasting a lot of your time, also wasting a lot of your money. So, going back to the point of like making sure that your IPs and all these things are trademarked and covered, you have to be passionate about it because it's expensive. Like, and you don't want to legalize every single idea you have. And I think that's what took us a very long time to do like the trademarking and stuff, is because we were doing the work most of the time. To Amanda's point, it's like we were just being creative and doing the work. We weren't looking up and saying that this is a legit business. And it could have caused us a lot of trouble. Thank God
mhm.
it hasn't and didn't, but it's important, like, if you are going to continue to build said thing, that you are protecting yourself legally in whatever way that looks like. But, from a corporate perspective, if you are working for a company, it's a little harder to do because technically you're work for hire most of the time. But you do want to make sure that you're getting the credit for whatever it is you're putting your ideas on. Like, one thing that
Absolutely.
I hated as an intern was that people would ask us all the time, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Yada, yada, yada. And then take the ideas and go back with it and create stuff. And it's kind of like, dang, why you didn't bring me into the room? I could have talked about these ideas myself. Like
Yo,
I could have talked about what I find to be hot because you guys
I
are
have
booking talent off of that?
yeah, and I have a story for you on that. It's so funny. I'm so glad you said something like that. And I actually wanted to see if this has ever happened to you too. But I can recall a time, and I won't give specifics, but if you know, you know, maybe you could put it together. Because I at the time had to probably sign something, which was like over 10 years ago. So it's probably not even, it's probably out of the time frame or whatever. But when I was an intern for a specific company, one of our projects, and I'm sure you guys may have had projects when you do internships, but one of our projects was we had to come up with a show idea. So my intern group was like a group of 4 or 5 of us, and we had a show idea and we had to go out and execute it, right? So one of my girls was like, okay, I know somebody that owns a tattoo shop in Harlem. And they were like, I'm going to see if we can film a show about tattoo artists, and it's going to be called Self Made. So we literally had a shooter. It was me and her. We came up with the creative ideas, and because they had like good storyline, right? You guys probably are putting it together what the show
Yeah,
was.
1,000%. Yep.
And this is before the show even came out. And so we had to present the show. We had to shoot a pilot as interns, go out in the city, shoot a pilot for the show. And later on, that network put out that same show in a different name.
Crazy.
So
Crazy. And you
I
can't
was
say
an intern at
anything.
the time. I couldn't
Yeah.
say anything. We couldn't do anything. But it was one of those things where it's like, bet. You know what I mean? So what made me think about it is like, has that ever happened to you where you had an idea or you shared something with somebody and they tried to go execute it and like try to act like they didn't get that idea from you? Has that ever happened to you? Because when that happened to us, we were so upset. We were like, yo, y'all could have just like gave us a little credit. Like, I get it. As interns, you feel like you don't have any like equity in what you're doing because like you're there for an opportunity and to get like a college credit. You know what I mean? Like you're not really thinking from a business perspective. Like at that time, I need to trademark this because it became a very popular show. And it was, if I show you guys the pilot verbatim, it was the same shop. Like it was literally the same exact idea. So it was crazy to me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And, as an intern, you're signing work for hire paperwork. So whatever you come up with is theirs. But I will say, now I don't know the actual like logistics of it, but when I think about, the corporate girlies who are listening, and how they are trying to build their own thing, but also kind of keep ownership of what they're building, but also collab with like a corporate company on a grand scale. I think of Imani Ellis. Like I don't know the logistics of it, but like she was able to come from her corporate world and build out CultureCon with like a massive company, but still own her IP. As a smart
I
girl.
love that.
Like,
I love
however she
that.
did that,
Love
I don't
Imani.
know. But
Yes.
when I think about like, is it possible for corporate girlies? I think about Imani Ellis and I'm like,
Hmm.
no, it is. I don't know how she did it,
Absolutely.
but I know it's possible. So for those of you who are listening who are like, hey, I have this idea, and I want to bring it to my business or whatever. I don't know what it looks like. Talk to a lawyer before you do it, but it is possible. So
Mhm.
don't get
Absolutely.
discouraged.
Yeah, and I think it's a part of having, like, the right people, like, behind the scenes that are, like, helping you make sure you get your ducks in order and, like, you literally have the right paperwork, you have the right things. And also, like, to your point, with working in these, like, realms and being in, like, the corporate world, like, take the knowledge you learn at work and apply it to whatever businesses that you're trying to produce outside
Hmm.
of your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally sitting at a desk, working hard, grinding it out, and doing this for said company, like, you gotta do the same due diligence for your own company, you know what I mean? Like, whatever you're learning in those spaces, there's plenty of things, like, that I've learned, in working in corporate that I still carry on right now as an entrepreneur, and you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you just gotta, like, let it work for you. You working for it,
Yeah.
but let it work for you.
Anytime I'm working for a place, that's exactly how I take it. I'm getting paid to learn. And like,
Absolutely.
you should totally think about no matter where you are, what you're doing, you're getting paid to learn. So take what you can and apply it elsewhere if you want to. Because also, as we get older, not everybody want to open up a business. Not everybody wants to do something as a side hustle and build their own. And that is a okay. Okay. There
Yes.
are people who are making a lot of money working for somebody else. That is okay.
Yes. Yeah, and I think also don't underestimate industries that you feel aren't as attractive. So I was listening to the story of the owner of Fishwife. If you guys don't know what Fishwife is, it's that popular sardine company that's like everybody literally eats sardines now.
Now everybody's eating it. Yep.
Back in the day, sardines was like, you ain't got no money eating sardines. You know what I mean? Like now sardines in Whole Foods is like $20 a can. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's different now. But I do think that the owner of that company, she took like a unique industry. Like no one's like really, when you go down that aisle at the grocery store, like all the cans look the same. You know what I mean? She
Mhm.
took something that wasn't like a conventional idea and literally just made it bloom. Like she repackaged it. She did the branding. She literally, I think, put all of her money to like social content creators, into like, digital marketing, like all that stuff. That company's worth like $6 to $15 million.
So crazy.
Can of
Insane.
sardines. Like
Insane.
blows my mind. And I think she's actually gonna start doing another business venture, I think, like in the canned food world. I don't remember what it is, but I
Mhm.
have to look it up. But that story was, if you guys ever get a chance to just go look at her story and what she's done, she changed the game.
That's what's
I
up.
like that.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, and I've been seeing that brand everywhere now on social media. And I will also say, yeah, sardines are very popular now. I
Mhm.
mean, they've always been really good for you, but now they're popular to eat, and they're not so much frowned upon because, yes, in the back in the day, people were like, "Elliot, you eat sardines, yuck."
Yeah, like, you eating sardines, you everything yeah, no, I love sardines. I love tuna, all that, so but I was like,
Mhm.
"Dang, she did her big one with that."
But I will also say kinda like, not everything needs to be severely protected, and I think for me, that was kind of like when we first started our business, and even, like, with my own stuff, like, I have cositas and my little travel makeup stuff, and like, and I have not, maybe I shouldn't say it out loud, but, like, I have not, like, trademarked that stuff because I'm like, not every idea needs to be trademarked. Like,
Mm,
I'm not Kim Kardashian, like, who's gonna like, is this gonna be big enough for me to IP? Like, is this gonna be big enough for me to trademark and protect?
mhm,
Like, not everything needs protection, but I think
mhm,
it's really up to you and your discernment to decide, okay, I need to protect this because if said such and such comes out with it, like, I wanna be able to have a leg to stand on or an argument or to create to be able to, you know,
yeah,
dispute that I own this idea, I own this whatever the case may be, but a lot of times, like, it's kinda like when we're building stuff from the ground up, we wait to have the perfect website, we wait to have the perfect this, the perfect that. Sometimes you just gotta do it
and
and
put it
and
out.
and protect it at the same time if you are gonna
Mhm,
do it, because again, a lot of times we don't be reinventing the wheel. It's the
ever,
same
we never
thing,
do.
just in a different marketing sense, and it's important to understand that too, like, are you really doing something new? But to your point, you could be Patrick Ta and not be doing something new and still IP it.
I think it's crazy that that happened, and I'm hoping that, Painted by Esther, definitely continues to get the credit because she's, a creative and she is a trendsetter in her own right, and Patrick Saw could have easily, honestly, used that as an opportunity to do a brand collab. It could have been a Patrick Ta Painted by Esther collection, like
What
makeup.
I'm saying.
Yeah, makeup companies do that all the time. They have collections from a said person, and they give another artist their credit, and I think that that could have easily been, like, the solve here,
Mhm.
but listen, Black people and brown people have been, getting their ideas taken from up under them for
For a
years,
long
and
time.
I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's just they're not maybe necessarily, like, mainstream or in a certain light to where people will pick up on it, but I love the era we are in as it relates to, like, the internet because people come with their receipts. We're like, "Wait a second, you weren't the first. We're gonna find the person, and we're gonna remind you who the person was." So I
Mhm.
love that sometimes people do that because I feel like, 10 plus years ago, people weren't able to do that, and people would just steal
Yeah.
people's ideas and run with it.
Yeah.
So, listen.
Or, like, even what was it that happened, like, 2 or 3 weeks ago with the face card? And the girl was, like, the creator, I think she was, like, a Black woman, and the creator of sort of, like, the content direction was, like, she went into a store and she, like, put her face, like, when you, like, tap to pay, like, she put her face and it was, like, "You're approved," or whatever.
Yes, yes.
And a couple of brands came out
Oh my
and
gosh,
did
I
that on a
seen
high
that.
scale after.
Yes, and she showed emails of the brand reaching out to her for her to do that, and I think she was, like, trying to, like, coin the phrase, like, to what you were saying, face card,
Yeah.
paying for stuff, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my gosh."
And you know what's unfortunate about this whole situation? It's like from Esther's perspective, it's like, who would have thought you could trademark that?
Mhm.
Like, I wouldn't have thought that. But again, I'm not a makeup artist, so I don't really know the like legalities of that world. But it's kind of like if you don't try, you don't really know if that thing is possible. And same with like the face card girl. Like, I wonder if she was
Yeah.
trying to trademark her stuff, or did they curve her and say, oh, you can't trademark this? Like, when Kylie tried to do the rise and shine or rise and
Mhm.
whatever, you remember? Like that it was, like, this whole thing, and then they told her no because it's too common of a phrase. She can't trademark it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, how do you really know if you don't have the resources to find that information out quickly? Because again, when I was doing, like, my trademark, it took a very long time. There's no really cutting the
Yeah.
line unless you're paying a lawyer who's got the ins and who's already in that field, you know? So it's unfortunate because again, when it comes to a system, very much so like Black and brown people are last, and sometimes they're told no about trademarking certain things that other people can get away with.
Yeah, and I will say this, especially for smaller creators, because I feel like we have so much more influence than we think because a lot of brands obviously they do their research and they look for these different ideas and things so that they can come up with new campaigns for their company. But remember this, if you have one idea, you have millions of ideas, right? Like you can put something out, be happy that you put it out in the atmosphere and in the universe, but do know that's not your one and only. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if God placed this on your heart to do, then he has so many other ideas for you. He has so many other ventures for you where it's not just a one and done. Cause if I came up with that and I got that so easily, it's like, what other things do I have in the can that I could let out and that could be successful? So don't ever feel like so attached to something that's the one and only. Like, no, baby, like you got so many different ideas under your belt. You just gotta like, you know what I'm saying? Just reach out and grab them like Barney. Like Barney got a
Mhm.
bag full of magic tricks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you literally are not just a one and done person. Like if
No,
you
for
had
sure.
this one
Don't
idea,
function from a
yeah,
scarcity place. If you did it once, you can do it twice. If you did it twice,
that's
you can do
it.
it 3 times. And you always learn, like, if, you in a situation where you're like, "Oh, damn, I didn't get credit for that thing," or, like, "I didn't protect myself when it comes to that thing," your next idea, now you know how to move. Like, don't be discouraged. And same for the corporate girls. Like, just because you work for a company, if you have a great idea and you sign, like, a work for hire contract, but you know this idea is gonna blow it up or whatever, like,
Hmm.
talk to the right people so you put yourself in a position where you are protected and you are also benefiting from your creative or your idea, your
Yeah.
marketing, whatever it is.
Yeah, and especially if for the girls who have a 9 to 5, like, work that 9 to 5. Like, if you have the different departments, you got your legal department, you got your engineering department, you got this, like, if you gotta take a couple meetings just to talk to people to get some ideas, you don't have to say what it is that you're doing, but, like, literally make sure you're getting the most out of the situation in whatever realm that you are in. But girl, this is such a good chat. Like, I hope anyone who is tuning in really got something from this conversation because it's important for us to talk about this. Like, we have these ideas, we want to make sure that we're protecting them and also just getting it out and putting it out there. You know what I mean?
And I love the accountability that's happening online, the way everybody's standing up for each other. I appreciate that because if the creator might not have seen it, at least somebody else could call it out. Because that's one thing about the internet. They ain't gonna forget ever. Okay?
Never, ever, ever, ever. Not on Beyonce's internet. And I love that. Hopefully, Patrick Talk comes out and says something to give Painted by Esther her flowers. Because
But it's like, how
listen,
can you at this point without backtracking? Like,
there's so many things he could do. Give her a little equity on that blush, give her a little something,
that's the
a
only
little
thing you can do.
percentage, a little
Yeah, that's
something.
the only solve,
Yeah,
because even if you
yeah,
say, "Yeah, okay, here's the credit," but the credit ain't gonna pay her bills, and let's
this
be
is
real,
true.
when you're patenting, not patenting, well, I guess patenting, trademarking, patenting, IP, whatever,
Hmm.
when you are taking that legal step, it's because there's finances attached to it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, unless you're gonna allow her to financially benefit, I don't keep the public credit. Give me the funds. I don't
That's
want the
it.
credit. Give me the
That's it.
funds.
That's it. Give her the funds. Pay women. We deserve it. We deserve it. We go through so much.
But yes, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in for another episode of Elevators, and we will be back in 2 weeks, y'all. We are coming to you every 2 weeks, and sometimes we might ramp it up. I don't know. Y'all just got to stay with us to find out. But we appreciate y'all tuning in every single Elevators episode, and
Always.
like, comment, subscribe if this has touched you and this was your sign to protect yourself, or send it to a friend who is going to feel inspired.
Yep.
Make sure you're sharing this episode.
Yes. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.